All right, so I decided in this video to start working on the walls. Okay, so we're going to, we need variables for the walls as well. And the idea behind this game is I actually want to have 3 walls that I think space them out maybe about 500 pixels apart. And then they're going to cycle. And then once one wall goes off the end, it'll cycle back to the other side, etc. and keep going like that. Okay, and we'll always make sure that they're 500 pixels apart. So we need variables for our walls. I'm going to have wall 1, and again make that an object, and let's give it an X property. I'm going to use canvas.width here. I actually want to start it off of the canvas, so canvas.width, and then a comma, because it's a list of properties. Now the Y values, this gets interesting. The height of my canvas is 600, and then the height of this is 50 pixels. And remember, the XY is the top left corner of the wall. Now, I think I want my walls to be, they shouldn't be too close to the top here or too close to the bottom, maybe 50 pixels on either side. And if I remember correctly, these are 50 by 100. So I want the top edge here to be at 100. Let me just write that down for a second. 100. Right, that would give a 50 gap here. So the highest it can be is 100, because I want them to have be randomly placed. Right, so I want them to be randomly placed somewhere between 100, and then I want the bottom of this thing to be down here where there's a 50 gap. So this would be 500. So the top, because it's 100 tall, would be 400. So I want to generate a random number between 100 to 400. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, this is a difference of 300. So that's important to start off with. So I'm going to go math.random, which gives me a number between 0 and 1, and I'm going to times that by 300. Right? So math.random is 0 to 1. If I times it by 300, that gets me 0 to 300. And then I just need to add 100 to that. Right? If I have 0 to 300, if I add 100, that'll give me 100 to 400. Okay, and that should give it a random Y value. And its width will be 50, and its height will be 100. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this, because I want 3 walls. We'll go wall 2 and wall 3, and they should all have, oh, hold on. They'll all have random Y values, but I want them to be 500 pixels apart. So this will be canvas.width, and then we'll add 500 to that, and then this wall 3 will be plus 1000. Okay, so that spaces them apart on the X values, and their Y values will be random. And if I run my program, we still see this one, because of course I'm not using these variables yet, right? Wall 1, wall 2, wall 3. If I look at where we draw the walls, that would be in the draw game, right? Draw wall 1, it's still at these numbers, right? It's not using the variables. But since we're talking about drawing, I want to draw my walls here, and I also want to draw my walls here. I don't need to draw the walls in the start screen, right? My draw start is up here, and that doesn't have draw walls. But I'm going to be doing the same code in 2 different places, and that seems not efficient, right? So I'm going to change this to draw walls, and I'm going to call this wall1.x, wall1.y, wall1.width, and wall1.height. And then I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm just going to use I can double click to select that, and then I hit Control D, and when I hit Control D over and over again, it selects all of those, and then I can type and change them all to wall 2. Same thing here, Control D, wall 3. Okay, so this should set it to green, and then draw three walls. But the problem is I'm going to copy and paste all of that here as well. And that's kind of not very efficient. So I'm going to have a section down here for some helper functions, I'm going to call it. Things that just help us make things more efficient. And let's have a function whose job is to draw the walls. Right? So function draw walls. And I can take this code, let's just take this. I'm going to copy it and put it into here. And remember, functions just store this code. It won't run this code until we tell it to run the code. But now, instead of doing all of this, I can simply call the function draw walls, like that. There we go. Okay, draw walls, and then it'll do this code. And the beauty of this is now I've written this code once. I can now call the function once, and over here, I can call the function again. That is called reusing code, right? Making it more efficient. I write the code once, and I call the function twice so that I can reuse that same code 2 different times. Bam, that's awesome. Okay, now we're going to continue with this efficiency because we'll notice that the draw start draws the background, the green bars, and the helicopter. Okay, the draw game draws the background, the green bars, and the helicopter. And the draw game over draws the background, the green bars, and the helicopter. Okay, so we're going to take all of this code that's common, and I'm going to make another function. There's the draw walls. We're going to call it draw. It's drawing a bunch of stuff. Let's just call it the draw main components. Right, these are the main components of the game. The green bars, the helicopter, right? The background. So that's a function called draw main components. I'm just going to copy that. So the background, the green bars, and the helicopter. And now we can reuse that code again, right? Write it once in here. And now inside of our game over screen, I can delete all of this and just say, hey, draw the main components. And I don't even need this comment anymore because the function is a comment enough, right? So let's get rid of that. We're going to draw the main components. We're going to draw the walls. And then this is unique to the game over screen, right? The circle and the game over text. And then we're going to go here. This is so exciting. In my draw game, I can delete all of this, background, green bars, and helicopter, and simply say, because I copied it. Here we go. Get rid of that. Draw main components, like so. So the draw game simply draws the main components and the walls. All right, awesome. And the reason we didn't want the walls inside of the main components, you'll see in a second here, is because in the draw start, I don't want to draw the walls. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm just going to draw the main components, and then the start text. Right? If I drew the walls in all 3 of them, I would have just added the walls into this function as well. But I just want to draw the main components here, and in the other 2 functions, I want to do the main components and the walls, like so. Okay, so one function, one job. We can write the code once and then call it multiple times. 1, 2, 3 times. Makes the code way more efficient. Okay. All right, we'll save that and we'll check it out. Everything looks like it's still working, except I can't see my walls. Why can't I see my walls? Because they're off of the screen. But if I check wall 1, you'll see that it's an object. There's this random Y value. Okay. You know what? I'm going to stop the video here, and we'll see our walls in the next video when we start to make them move, right? They're off the screen right now. Once we start making them move left, they should come into the screen. Okay. Hope that made sense. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.